Hello, Henry.
Hello, Edison.
Oh, very nice to talk to you.
Yes, very good to see you.
Yes. Thanks so much for accepting my invitation. This conversation this invitation that I made for you intends to help people, to prepare themselves for the economic shift that we need to implement after this quarantine that everybody in the world is on. I think that is very important, and the world is suffering so much about this. And what are the things that are happening in the United States? How do you see this crisis today?
Today, it's a very mixed picture. There are both positive and negative responses. At the national level, there is no clear, organized response. At the state and local level, there is leadership that has come up with response to the crisis. So there is no single response. It is not well organized. It will likely get worse before it gets better in many places, because there's not been clear national leadership to respond. If anything, the leadership has been negative, expressing disbelief that there is a health crisis.
And let me ask you some questions. Your ideas became very famous and influential worldwide. Could you describe briefly what mean the concepts triple helix and entrepreneurial university?
Okay, well, triple helix refers to university, industry, government interaction. When I was doing research on university-industry relations, especially the history of it at MIT, I came across an initiative that had been organized by the governors of New England in response to the depression of the early 20th century, the 1930s and even earlier in the 1920s. And they called together the leadership of the region, from businesses, from governments, but also from universities. What was unusual is that they also involved the universities, but in a way, this could be expected because in New England, universities were a very important part of the infrastructure, a higher concentration of universities there than elsewhere in the country. And so they had these discussions. And what came out of it was a proposal from the president of MIT that instead of trying to revive existing industry, they should develop a strategy to develop new industry based on research coming out of the universities. And there were already examples of this from MIT in the early 20th century. New firms being formed in scientific instruments in the late 19th century, in the 1920s in the new radio industry. And President Compton suggested that this could be a way forward. And the participants agreed, and they began to explore ways to do this. To make a long story short, the innovation that they invented came to be known as the venture capital firm, to fill a gap in financing and advice to help start new firms. So this is the origins of the triple helix, because at one point I saw a letter which had the membership of this New England Council. And there were 3 columns, one for the industry members, one for the university members, and one for the government members. And there were equal numbers in each. And so I said, aha, triple helix. This is a triple helix of university, industry, government interaction in order to promote innovation and entrepreneurship. So that's where the concept came from. But the concept, as you can see, was based on the actual activities. It was a concept developed from practice, not from the thin air of theory. The theory came from the practice.
And considering what we are living today, considering the crisis that we are living today, how important these collaborations are to face this challenge that we live in today with COVID-19?
They could be very important, but we only see it being used in a limited way. In the United States, at the beginning of World War II, a triple helix collaboration was organized, led by scientists who reached President Roosevelt and said, we must organize a project to develop an atomic bomb, or otherwise Nazi Germany could get there first. And the president agreed and organized the resources and invited industry to participate. And so a triple helix collaboration was organized with the full force and authority of the national government behind it. And so within a relatively short period of time, an entirely new technology was developed. What do we see at present? We don't see any leadership at the national level to do this. We do see some examples at the local level. In New York, a proposal came up and the city government adopted it to take a student project at MIT to develop a ventilator that would be less expensive and less costly. And they scaled this up. The city put up financing, private companies were involved, and they developed this triple helix project at a local level. So we have seen the concept only being used, the practice only being used in a limited way thus far, to our knowledge.
We are here in IME, we are very proud about the things we are doing. Just after this crisis began here in Rio, and our governor told people to stay in quarantine at home, our commander, with the guidance of our superiors, he started to prepare our faculty to do lots of nice things. And since then, we've been doing lots of activities, trying to mitigate the effects of the disease and contribute to society. And I start to talk to people from several origins, companies, and other headquarters from Brazilian Army. And I need to tell you that I never collaborated so much with other institutions as we do today. I'm facing this today, but I can feel, I can see that my colleagues are also living the same experience. And that's the reason I think that this kind of discussion is so important and so relevant to highlight, you know. But I know that you lives in Silicon Valley. That's a place in the world that has lots of innovation. And I'd like to know if you can tell us good news from Silicon Valley about the things that people is preparing to fight against the COVID-19.
Well, it's very good to hear about the response in Rio that you're telling me about. The closest that I can say to what the good response was in the Valley is that there was an early response because of close knowledge of what is going on in China. There are many collaborations with China. Within the government in San Francisco, there was an official who was following this very closely. And they warned the mayor. And so the mayor made a very early response, and also together with the counties in the Bay Area. And so companies shut down their headquarters and their activities very early. And there was a relatively early response. But as far as an organized innovation response, I can't say that I'm aware of very much. It's mostly happening individually. There are various projects at the universities, and some individual companies may be involved, but not an overall organized response.
Yes, but and what about other countries? Do you have news from other countries in the world, the things that they do in the collaborations, how the triple helix itself are working in other countries?
Well, this is what we began to think about a month ago, and we organized some projects to gather those responses. One is a questionnaire that can be answered that is just going live as we speak. It can be found at the Triple Helix Association website, www.triplehelixassociation.org.
We could show this. Can I show that?
Sure, please.
Yes. Could you see the website?
Yes. A second project is to organize researchers from around the world to collect what the responses have been in their countries and regions. And Ramat Allah from Pakistan and Claudia from Mexico are taking the lead on that project.
Yeah, could you describe for us where is the project here in the website?
Maybe go below. This is the announcement of the conference.
Yes. We can talk about this later.
Yes.
I tried to look for this project here before, and I couldn't find it.
You're right. It's not there. It's not there yet. It should be in the process of being added to the website immediately. So I would say keep in touch with the website to look for these projects.
Okay, no problem. Let's go back. Stop share. Okay. So, no, but it's a nice thing that you are mapping this collaboration. This is something very interesting. I talked to Marisa from Unirio, and he told me that she's also doing something in this way.
Yes, that's one of the projects that have been organized. Marisa Almeida at the State University of Rio is taking the lead in Brazil in organizing the Brazilian part of the project.
Yes. So 2 weeks ago, I were invited to talk in a conference in a conference about engineering education, and considering this thing that I told you about the enhance of collaborations, I believe that one positive thing that we obtain about this crisis is the enhance of these collaborations, because we needed to talk so much with different people to obtain important results to mitigate the crisis. That's something very important to enhance the entrepreneurial features from the universities. I don't know if you agree with me about this.
Yes, I think it will take a collaborative response, because we won't be able to go back to the way that things were. There will be continuing effects, and we must figure out what those effects are and how we can best respond. And so we're going to need innovation. We're going to need new ideas. And that can come often from the universities. But then we're going to need implementation. And that we need government and industry to work together with the universities in order to figure out what is the best response to a new situation.
And do you believe that the universities will become more entrepreneurial after this crisis? What the things are you seeing in the United States or in other countries? What are the news that you have about this entrepreneurial behavior?
Well, I think all the universities are having to rethink how they operate. That they can't go on with, they haven't been able to go on just with the existing classroom teaching. And so they're figuring out ways to use new technologies in order to deliver classes to their students. So I think it's shaking up the system. So I think that more will become involved, not only in internally reorganizing universities, but also becoming in collaboration with the rest of society in order to improve conditions. That is our hope, at least.
Yeah. You have, I know that you have a project creating an index for entrepreneurial universities. Could you tell me more about this project here for people?
Sure. Well, we noticed, as everyone has, that universities are increasingly ranked, but they're ranked usually on traditional indicators of their research and their teaching. So, of course, that misses their involvement in entrepreneurship and innovation. So instead of just critiquing the existing rankings, we decided to organize a project to develop new indicators of the entrepreneurial university. And this project was organized with support from the US National Science Foundation, an initial conference in Holland in 2016. And the project especially took off in Brazil under the leadership of the Triple Helix chapter in Brazil. Marisa and colleagues in Sao Paulo. So PhD students in Sao Paulo organized a project to rank Brazilian universities. Dr. Almeida in Rio organized a project to develop new indicators, which has been supported by Faberge, the Rio Innovation Agency. And so that has moved forward, especially well in Brazil, which is providing a model for other places to develop these indicators.
Oh, very nice. And to conclude our talk, I would like to know more. I'd like to know more about the Triple Helix conference. Previously, you sent me a slide. Could you talk to me a little bit more about the conference? I can share the slide here.
Sure. Well, the Triple Helix Association has a conference every year. In the year 2000, the conference was in Brazil, in fact, in Rio de Janeiro. And next year, it will be in Sao Paulo at the University of Sao Paulo is the plan. But this year, it was going to be in Finland. What has happened now in response to the crisis is that you won't have to go to Finland to participate in the conference. The conference is going virtual. It will be online. And not just with the presentations online, but with finished software, there will be interactive coffee hours, virtual coffee hours, and other interactive features. So here is the information about the conference, which everyone is welcome to join and find out more information about the website that's listed on this slide. So I look forward to seeing everyone who's here our talk now discuss and join together with our colleagues on the 15th, 16th, and 17th of June.
Oh, very
at
nice.
The first virtual Triple Helix conference.
Very nice, very, very nice. I also think that it's a nice, very nice opportunity. I didn't know about that, and I feel very happy. I feel very happy to advertise this, to use this channel, this talk to advertise the conference. I think that it will be a very nice opportunity for everybody. to disseminate these ideas and to enhance the collaborating triple helix.
Yes,
Very nice.
and there you'll be able to learn more about the various projects and to join in and participate.
And especially the practice of triple helix. How does it work in practice in several countries and several different situations?
Yes, this will all be in the papers and presentations at the conference. It's an international conference. People from many different countries globally will be participating, as usual. As usual.
Very nice.
So, very good to see you.
So, Henry, very nice. I'd like to thank you for this invitation, to accept my invitation to talk to me. I feel very pleased about that. And I hope that I can see you soon, preferably in Palo Alto, okay?
Okay, look forward. And also in Rio.
Yes. Thanks a lot.
Okay, take care. Very
Bye-bye.
good to be with you.
Take care too. Bye-bye.
Abrazos.
Abraço. Yes.